Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachak Kodash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Blessings to the hopeful elect, teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. I just wanted to do a quick video on this, Columbus Day, and basically just speak about the atrocities, right, of this fucking so-called white man, Spaniard, right, called Christobo Colon, or you know him as today as Christopher Columbus, okay, and how he actually arrived on the shores of the Bahamas, right, with his men and basically enslaved, right, the Tainos, man, the Native American Indians, which are our people, which are the Hebrew Israelites spoken of in the Bible, in which they hope, the so-called white man hopes that we forget, and that's why he tries to remove it from textbooks, and that's why he's trying to keep this truth from us. But this truth is being known in these last days. Okay, when you read about what the atrocities of this fucking devil did, then you understand that that's the reason why there's not going to be any mercy for Esau and the kingdom. When we actually get him in slavery, when we've got them in chains, right? We ain't gonna spare you, man. We ain't gonna spare your old. We ain't gonna spare your young. We ain't gonna spare your women because you didn't spare ours, man. And we're gonna render unto you double than what you gave unto us. Because the scripture says that thine heart shall meditate terror. And this is just the truth. Okay. And I've got this article here that I just wanted to go into from the New York Times. I'll have you know. Okay. And it's basically titled "Slavery and Colonialism Make Up the True Legacy of Columbus." All right. So the truth is out there, man. All right. Through the Urim and the Thummim, man, we've been blessed to have this, to share the truth, right, throughout all the four corners of the earth. All right, and our people are waking up to the fact that these devils, they like to say that they discovered, or Christopher Colon discovered America, which he didn't even reach the Americas, man. He only, he landed on the Bahamas, man. All right, went over to Haiti, all right, and certain islands, but he didn't really get to the Americas, man. What you got to understand is, once he got over there and so-called discovered the Americas, so-called, right, which he didn't even reach there, right, the Americas, that is, right, he came back and basically shared his intel and then started bringing more so-called white people over there. And what did they start doing? Started taking down the Native American Indians in great numbers, man. All right, because that's what this devil does. He's a fucking plague. He's a virus. And when he came over there, he infected us with his virus, man. And a lot of the Tainos died from them viruses that he brought over, because the so-called white man's a dirty bastard, man. All right, and I don't give a fuck how I'm saying it. I don't care how it's coming out, because the truth is coming out, and what you did to our people, man, you're gonna have to pay for that. And you ain't, look, man, we ain't gonna put our hands on you now, right? I ain't look, man, because you got certain guys out there talking about how we're black extremists, black identity extremists, and all of that. They label us black Hebrew Israelites. No, we're Hebrew Israelites, man. Okay. And we want what's due to us, man. We want revenge, man. But we ain't going to get it now. We're going to get it when Yahweh Shai returns and he turns us into hunters. He said, wait ye upon me. Okay? So I'm going to just go through a few. And you can see the actual excerpt from this article here, man, that they've highlighted. And I'm going to just go straight to the point. And it reads to the editor, I expected that the real Columbus Day at last, editorial October the 12th, would explore, however briefly, the real meaning of Christopher Columbus's accidental encounter with America, which that's a lie, because it wasn't accidental. Okay, when you watch that movie Conquest 1492, right, by Ridley Scott, which is, when it comes to period timepieces, he's really good at doing, man. I like watching a lot of his films because it's almost like he time travels you, man. He puts you back in that time zone and makes you feel like you're actually watching. You can actually dive into the screen and be living in that time. Okay? And he done a film called Conquest of Paradise 1492. And I'll have you know, why is it named Conquest of Paradise? Right? Because our people were living in somewhat harmony over there, man. Even though they were going off. Alright? But it was a better life that they're living now. It was a better life that they were living before Esau brought his cracker ass over there and started enslaving them, raping their women, feeding their babies to alligators. Okay? And just slaying them by the sword, man. Because that's what Esau's known for. He's a violent man. Okay? And it says, instead you are presented to startlingly ethnocentric view of that account as consequences. To say that Columbus forged a lasting link between the civilization of Europe and the largely undeveloped continents of North and South America suggests that Columbus found mostly empty lands inhabited by relatively few uncivilized peoples. To the Americans of European descent, this is a comfortable picture, but it diminishes the impact of his tragic legacy on the native peoples of the Americas and Africa. Most school history texts do not tell that Columbus was the first European to bring slavery to the New World. Alright, so the truth is out. Okay? And this was the beginning of the transatlantic slave trade, man. And this is what people don't even see. You got 2/3 of our people that want to bury their heads in the sand and they want to save this devil. The same devil that put them in slavery. The same devil that raped their daughters, their mothers, their sisters and all of that, man. Okay? And they want to protect this devil, man. It says 2 days after he discovered America, Columbus wrote in his journal that with 50 men, he could force the entire population to be taken to Castile or held captive. What's that talking about? Slavery. With 50 men, he could enslave them. Right? The entire population. All right? Because when they came over to the Americas, believe it or not, or when they came over to the Bahamas and that, to the islands and that, they welcomed them, man. Alright? Because our people were living over there in peace, man, somewhat. Okay? But through that naivety, that's why the scripture says never trust thine enemy, man. Okay? It says on his second voyage in December 1994, Columbus had captured 1,500 Tainos on the island of Hispaniola. Right? And which was named Hispaniola by that fucking cracker devil, man. Okay? And herded them to Isabella, where 550 of the best males and females were forced to board ships. What does that remind you of? Right? It says, and bound for the slave markets of Seville. So slavery, oh man, what you don't seem to understand is when the scriptures talk about slavery, that actually happened to the Native American Indians as well, man. It didn't just happen to the so-called Negroes. Okay? It says 550 of the best males and females, so they treated us like specimen. Looking at, choosing up the strongest men, the strongest women and whatever, And they took them, the 500 best of them, and I believe 200 of them died on the way back to Spain. And do you know what? This wasn't the first, and this wasn't the last voyage to be made to and from the Americas, man. And Christobo Colon, he knew. Right? He knew that the 10 tribes were already dwelling over there, man. Because he in that movie, Conquest of Paradise, 1492, Christobo Colon, he even mentions Esdras, man. And his confidant or whatever, the guy that he was speaking to, he even said, well, Esdras is a Jew. Right? So they even showing you, man, that they were basically Hebrews. Okay, and they were speaking Hebrew over there and everything, man. That's why Christobo Colon, he even brought over a Hebrew interpreter with him, man. Right? I believe his name is Louis de Torres. In fact, what I'm going to do is, let me get a new tab up here, man. Louis de Torres. I'm pretty sure I looked this guy up. I looked this guy up before, man. And yeah, here we go. Let's get that Wikipedia up real quick. Louis de Torres. It says Louis de Torres died 1493. Was Christopher Columbus's interpreter on his first voyage to America. Okay? And you know what he spoke? He spoke Hebrew, man. Right? I don't even know if they're even going to mention it here. Let's see. Arriving at Cuba when he's supposed to be at the Asian coast, Columbus sent de Torres and the sailor Rodrigo de Jerez on an expedition inland on November the 2nd, 1492. Their task was to explore the country, contact its ruler, and gather information. How are they going to contact this ruler? Right? Through the Hebrew translation. How are they going to make that contact, man? How are they going to decipher what was being said? How are they going to communicate? Through the translator, Louis de Torres. And gather information about the Asian emperor described by Marco Polo as the Great Khan. Two men were received with great honors in a village and returned 4 days later. They reported the native custom of drying leaves, inserting them in cane pipes and burning them, inhaling the smoke which they were going off, right? A reference to the use of tobacco. Okay? In fact, let's see if, oh, hold on a minute. I believe I just stumbled across something. Oh, here we go. Woo! It says legends. It says De Torres' life has been the subject of various legends, the most widespread one of which can be found in the Encyclopedia Judaica and similar reference books is that De Torres was a Jewish converso or convert escaping the banishment of the Jews from Spain, and that he became his in his latter days a wealthy and honored landowner in the West Indies. Okay, so he spoke Hebrew, man. All right, because you had Jews that were being conquered by the so-called white man, right? I believe you had certain, like you had the Moors and that, and I believe the last stronghold of the Moors was in Granada. All right, and they even show you that in that movie Conquest of Paradise 1492, man. All right, and they speak about, you know, the Jews that were being converted and all of that, man. All right, so it actually says it here. Louis de Torres was a Jewish converso, man, or a convert. Okay, escaping the banishment of the Jews from Spain. So he spoke Hebrew, man. All right, because that is the language of the Jews, Hebrew. Okay, so let's get back into this article, man. And it says, 2 days after he discovered America, Columbus wrote in his journal that with 50 men, he could force the entire population to be taken to Castile or held captive. On his second voyage in December 1494, Columbus captured 1,500 Taínos on the island of Hispaniola and herded them to Isabella, where 550 of the best males and females were forced. They were forced, man. And what do you think? When you're forced, it don't mean that, you know, you're having a chat with the guys, man, or you're having a chat with a man and his wife, and you're telling them, look, come aboard this ship, you know, and there's a glass of wine waiting for you. That's not how this was orchestrated, man. When you're forced to leave your people, when you're forced to leave your homeland onto a ship that you've never been on before, right? Whilst your family's getting raped and murdered and slaughtered, man, at the same time by these crackers that have just landed on your island and started all this madness. How do you think they were going to react, man? They were going to be resistant. There was going to be signs of resistance, you know? So they were forced upon the ships and they were bound for the slave markets of Seville, man. Under Columbus's leadership, the Spanish attacked the Taíno, neither sparing men, women, nor children. So what you got to understand is, you know, picture your image of, like, I don't know, man, you might have little cousins and that, man, in your family, man. Little children running around, man. All right? And picture a so-called white man coming along with a sword and just cutting off their heads, man. Then raping your woman, man. Raping your aunts, your cousins. That's what was happening over here, man. And, you know, it's almost like they went from somewhat peace to anarchy overnight. All right? Now, we know through the curses that it was brought upon us through the prophecies because we were going off, man. So the Lord brought our enemies upon us, man. All right? And our main enemy is a so-called white man, meaning the Edomites that are spoken of in the Bible, man. And they showed that enmity full force when they came over there to the islands, man. Okay? It says warfare, forced labor, starvation, and disease reduced Hispaniola's Taino population, estimated at 1 million to 2 million in 1492. To extinction within 30 years. So as soon as they got there, man, 1492, there was like 2 million of them that got slaughtered. There was other accounts that said that the average conquistador, which conquistador means a conqueror, right? They had about 5 Native American women in rotation to serve them, man. Fucking ridiculous, man. All right? It says, until the European discovery of America, there was only a relatively small slave trade between Africa and Europe. Needing labor to replace the rapidly declining Taino, the Spanish introduced African slaves to Hispaniola in 1502. So how can you tell me that the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are not the true Hebrew Israelites, man? How can you tell me that these curses don't fit upon our people, man? It says the trade was important to the Caribbean economy, man. And there's more on this. You can read more, man. You can keep on reading and reading and reading, man. And it will just infuriate you, man. Okay? So let me get some prophecies out on this, man. Let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Go straight to the point. And the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way thereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies. Wait, hold on a minute. You shall be sold. Right? Who was sold? Okay? Let's read this again. It says what? 550 of the best males and females were forced aboard ships bound for the slave markets of Seville. They were put in markets, man, and they were sold. That happened to the Native American Indians as well, man. All right, and Egypt represents bondage. Okay, Egypt is synonymous with the word bondage. When you go to the root word of what in the Hebrew is martazayim for Egypt, but when you go to the root word, it's tug of war, it's synonymous with bondage, man. Right? And we were in bondage on ships, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. That fits us, man. That fits our people. And that was prophecy that had to happen to us, man. And the Tainos, it said that they faced extinction, man. Within the first year, about 1 to 2 million. And in the next 30 years, they faced extinction. That's how much killing they did. I believe there's a quote about Christobo Colon. He said he couldn't even put his sword down. That's how much killing he did, man. He said with 50 men, he could enslave the whole colony, man. All right, and even in that film 1492, they said, oh, man, we need black slaves. We need black slaves. That's what they were saying, man. They saw us as money-making commodity. They saw us as chattel, man. That's all they saw us as, man. This is, I'm going to get Habakkuk. And you got certain guys talking about, why you got horns on Jesus as a so-called white man and all that. Fuck this devil, man. Okay? That's all I got to say about that. This is Habakkuk 2 and 12. In fact, let me get 2 and 5. Ye also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man and neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death. And Esau, man, look, man, he was Christobo Colon. When he came over to them shores, man, he was nothing but a dark cloud, man, over the Native American Indians. He was as deaf to them, man, and he showed that to them. And cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people, man. Okay? Down to verse 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establish a city by iniquity, man. And you did that, Esau. You did that. You so-called white people, you did that, man. Okay? So what's going to happen to you? You going to get the same in return. Even worse. Exodus 21 and 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him. Remember, they were taking 550 of the best men and women, which the number got reduced through death along the way, back to Spain. But they were sold, man. They were stolen and they were sold, man. It says, he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, according to the law, he shall surely be put to death. All right, and these are the things. That's why they didn't want us reading this on them plantations, man. When they finally grouped us all up and got us on them ships and got us in slavery, man, punishable by death was reading the scriptures. If you was able to read the scriptures, man, and you caught reading the scriptures, they put you to death. Why? Because they knew that they were enslaving the Hebrew Israelites, man. They knew who we were. In fact, we knew who we were, man. That's why we were singing Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, coming forth to carry me home. And that's what we can't wait for when Yahweh Shai returns with them chariots and buys us back out of the hand of these devils, man. When he redeems us. Remember, blessed be the Lord power of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people. We are the ones that need redeeming, man. We are the ones that need being brought back from this devil. Because we're still in his hands to this day. We're still in captivity. Talking about Emancipation Proclamation, man. Alright? The word emancipation just means to transfer, man. Meaning, we went from private slaves to corporate slavery, man. We went into the hands of these fucking Rothschilds and that, man. Talking about, oh, Abraham Lincoln abolished slavery. He didn't abolish shit, man. We're still in slavery to this day, man. And these curses still stick to us and overtake us and pursue us, man. Don't try and tell me that you're going to remove the slavery out of slavery books and we just fitting to forget about it. No, we ain't forgetting about shit. Revelation chapter 13 verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. And that means to have the understanding, man. Because if you got ears, you can hear, but do you understand? Now understand this. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Straight, cut and dry and to the point, man. You took us on them slave ships. You put us on auctioning blocks. You sold us, man. You tarred and feathered our men. You dismembered our men. You castrated our men. You butt broke our men. You raped our women. You slaughtered our children. And you got these fucking simple Native American Indians over there celebrating Columbus Day, man. Even niggas celebrating Columbus Day, man. When if you really know the truth about what this devil did, you wouldn't celebrate it, man. Hailing your enemy. You're celebrating your enemy taking you down, man. You fucking sellouts. Bunch of Uncle Toms, man. But the Lord said, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished, man. So if you want to die the death of an Edomite, you go ahead and join hand in hand with him, man. When the Lord comes back to take him out, you going to be among them. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints, man. And who are the saints? The Israelites, man. So with that, man, I'm going to say shalom.